afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world today. I hope you're absolutely fantastic. Let's come into some market updates. First of all, sorry for not putting out any content for the last day and a half. I got a genius idea about the AI that I'm coding, and I've just been pursuing that for the last day and a half. Really happy the way it's turned out. So if you're into the new age and the pioneering and what's to come in terms of how markets are being run by AI and how that's possible, reach out to me. Let's have a conversation. And maybe if you're keen to get on board with the project, we can have a little chat. So, onto the markets. Where I left you guys was I think when price was back here, and I said that we're going to see a turning point within this green little circle range. That's what happened. And what we're going to focus on today is just setting that up in the other direction. Now, where I'm quite surprised is on the higher frame, the price is kind of hanging up quite stubbornly at the top. As I released a few videos about this week, it's really important to have a system. And the reason why a system is so important is because there are examples as of now where we don't necessarily know what's happening and things can get confusing. So by having a system and going through it stage by stage, the clarity is then gifted to us. So let's begin. In terms of trend direction, let me just pull that over there. So looking at trend direction, I'll tick them on as we go. We do have 5 above 3. We do have that high above that high, and then that low above that low, and then that low above that low. So higher lows and higher highs. This means we're in an uptrend. So with that information alone, we should see price breaking the recent high. I want to try to be unbiased in this, as when I look at the higher frame, I do think it's super strange how it's just stopped over there instead of continuing down. Normally, the market likes to etch across to anchor itself into the right location before it makes the next necessary move. However, the shape in which it's doing so here is really confusing me. So either we're going to get a higher high, so it's going back to trend, or we're finding ourselves into a market attempting a symmetrical triangle, which isn't obvious at this point. Okay. So let's continue. So from a trend perspective, although it does suggest that we got all of those, I can't say my confidence is strong as to whether or not the trend is for sure in the upward direction. Mostly because the higher frame is getting close to the end of the cycle, and it's just really confusing me that price has bounced, and the way it's bounced into this the red zone over here, this danger zone, or the kill zone, as you'll come across it over there. So I'm going to take this off. And the reason why I want to take that off is because the less they are switched on over here, the less likely we are allowed to open up a trade. And that's a good thing because humans need governing. I watched Tucker Carlson speech at the Trump rally he did, speaking about Daddy's Coming Home. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's really, really a good one to watch. Anyway, the turning point spacing. So this is, again, a really good point. Okay, so the turning point spacing, once you get to understand the strategy and therefore learn how markets truly work, within market cycles, there's going to be a finite amount of area in which where the highs and lows get to form. All right, so when we've got big energetic moves, things quieten down, and then after the quiet part, things move again. It's just like this ebbs and flows rule that it's got. So it's got a finite amount of energy inside the cycle, and because of this big move from that low to that high, we have a limited amount of space for a high, a low, and a high to form. So things are going to get crammed over here, and we're about to enter into the weekend, which means that the liquidity typically drops off now and only kind of picks back up on Monday, which again is starting to get really close towards the election period where markets across the board, I'm assuming, it's the first time I've actually gone into an election this big before in my lifetime. So I'm assuming markets across the board are going to be getting very volatile, and maybe leading up towards it, there could be some lowered or tepid of market behavior, because guys are probably just keeping the capital close to their chest, waiting for that volatility to strike. So the build-up could be a bit quiet, which leans into this. So if the highs and lows have a finite amount of space to move, that means that the moves are going to be shorter. So just be aware of that if you're going to get into a trade, because the human nature just wants to have targets hit, and the patience drops off and that kind of thing. So when the lowered liquidity in the market or the lowered volume or buying behavior in the market transpires, it can be like emotionally draining, because it gets a little further away from your entry and then maybe it goes down closer to your stop loss. It's like this long, boring waiting game, and it's not really rewarding. So I wouldn't recommend, just from that aspect alone, to get into position just for these two reasons. So turning point spacing, whether or not it's a good idea to open up a trade, I think I'm going to go with no. Just to clarify, in case I haven't already, the checklist on the left-hand side are all the considerations, and then so that's the charting, and then the trading side of things are these switches over here that works with probability mathematics, and therefore you've got charting and trading considered. And when you want to master yourself, there's three things you need to master in trading: master the chart, master the trade, and master yourself. All three are super, super key components to winning at this game. And under the self part, I've got a checklist of rules that you got to go through. This was always my favorite one over here. Don't follow advice from someone who knows less than you. And if you go to my profile on TradingView, you'll see that I'm following no one because of that rule. Anyway, so let's start moving forward with this. It's already almost 9 minutes, so sorry for keeping you waiting, but I like to be a bit more vigorous, especially now that I haven't spent some time with you over the last 2 days. Maybe we should start picking up from here. So in terms of scaling, let's have a quick look to see whether or not there's anything here for us. It's quite a big move, so I know because of that and the finite amount of energy in the cycle, as we just made mention to, it's important to not have the scaling too large. And let's just see what we come across here and what will fit. So I'm going to put down again. I think I'm going to keep it quite tight for that reason. And looks to be interacting at all the right places there. So that's pretty cool. So from a scaling perspective, I think that's fine. And again, as we go through every line item, I see them as individuals when it comes to the trading side. So because those two switches are off, this one will remain on because I agree with the scaling. And that's how you get your probability stack and then a final score. And within that score, you will either allowed to be given permission by the system to open up a trade or not. And if yes, then it'll show you how big a trade to open. All right, so at this stage, if everything else worked out, we'll be able to use 5% of account or 0.5% if you're working with prop firms. And then, yeah, this is, as you've seen before, it shows you the targets, it shows your entry, stop loss, and so forth. So a lot of the weight of trading is offset from you into this. And again, guys, I know I've spoken about it a lot this week. Having a system, having a systematic plan, having a checklist, falling down with that, no matter what, no excuses, just following that is going to be your best bet to succeeding in this game. I'm not saying that mine's the best in the world. I'm saying it's one of the best in the world. And it's available to retail traders, which the real best in the world just simply aren't. I think BlackRock has kind of raised the barriers on that. But yeah, so if you're not going to use mine, then find one of your own or one that's really, really working consistently in all market conditions, not just bull runs, and make sure that you just humdrum onto that. Bang, 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 bang. And if it doesn't work, make minor refinements, but don't drastically change everything all the time, because that's when we become reactive to the markets. Okay, so the kill zone, yeah, we're out of that now. So that's fine. We'll leave it on. I can start moving. The kill zone in the higher frame is still in there, but we're looking at what's happening over here in this frame over there. So this is relevant to the chart that you're working from. It's just something to consider in case it hasn't crossed your mind. Time projection, we can have a quick look. It's looking pretty convincing that this is going to exhaust soon. Like it's going to run out soon in terms of its energy. So I wouldn't open up a trade just yet based on that. The cube root. Let's get the figures real quick. This is something completely original to me. Like I haven't picked this up in any advice, any book. This is an absolutely aha moment that was just, wow, it blew my brain when I came across. It's so I'm really, 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 really grateful for it. And if you're interested in learning a bit more about what that's like, then feel free to make contact and let's have a conversation. But for now, I'm just going to leave it at that. And so that's a second confirmation on time that I think we're going to see a turning point soon. Let's move on to the oscillator. Not very convincing. I think it's thinning out. It's losing momentum. It's getting to a point where it wants to turn around. So I'm not excited about that. I'm not seeing these big open lines promising like a big run to follow. So that's kind of alongside Friday, the weekend, build up to elections. It's kind of lowering itself out, which is high risk for me because it's emotionally exhausting having a trade open and the market is not doing much. So not a big fan of a boring market. Price projection. Yeah, we're at the latter arcs over here, arc 4. If you don't know what arc 4 means, then I highly recommend taking my course because the GAN tool brings all of these sacred teachings together into something that's modernized, applicable, and usable on the markets at any time. I've had a few guys reach out to me and speak to me about teaching them how to astro trade. And the great thing about astro trade is that a lot of the answers to the markets exist in it. The downfall about astro trading is that it's so much extra work. It's so much extra work. It's a lot of analysis. It's so much extra work. And the beauty about these tools is that once you find things that represent the advanced stuff and the advanced studies and all the clever thinking and what's truly going on. When you find tools that represent what is going on, then it's best to use the tools and not have to know too deeply as to why things are happening, but more so just go on line with it's going to represent the why, and therefore that makes setting up multiple trades a week or a day a lot more attainable, especially nowadays where everything is kind of convenient and fast and responsive, and it's the best time to trade now in terms of all history. The best time to be a trader is now. The tools are there, everything's like kind of modernizing, and you don't necessarily need to know like all the hectic stuff just to get ahead. So if you don't know about the Gantt square, um, at least study your ass off around it, and study it from people like myself who know how to truly use it. Because when I first found out about it, I didn't really know where to put it, how large to make it, um, what was a confirmed high or low, what was not. There was a whole bunch of extra stuff that still was unanswered. And then I found all of those answers. So just find the right people who know the right answers as well, I suppose. Okay, what else have we got here? Fan line R curves, yeah, that's in line with the GAN. So in terms of the location in which price is at, there isn't much room to be profiting from this. And that's another thing that a lot of guys overlook is the risk reward ratio when it comes to actually trading itself. If you don't know about that, I've got modules on that you can learn about. But for the time being, I'm just going to go with the reward level is only one. So there's only one of these segments available here. And I can tell you right now that we're not going to get the go ahead from the system to say it's a good idea to open up a trade. So for those reasons, I want to protect the capital. I probably recommend you do the same, and maybe let's have another look at it on Monday. I'm getting a lot of direct messages and people reaching out to me this week, and I'm loving it. It's so great to re-engage with the community and all walks of life, guys from sanctioned countries to your normal big hitter countries, from Australia. Every major time zone, actually, if I came to think of it, has reached out to me this week. And please keep the messages coming. Please reach out to me and start a conversation. Let's guide you in one direction or another. There's a kind of, I assume, someone younger. I don't want to say kid, but I'm like 40 now, so a kid to me who was just moved to Norway, and he didn't have the money to purchase the course, which is totally understandable. But even with them, I got to understand his trade journey, his objectives, and I advised him what his next 3 steps should be, and then kind of what to look for in terms of my available free content on YouTube and what will be most relevant to him. So I'm here to guide, I'm here to uplift. I'm one of the genuine guys out there, according to almost everyone I come in contact with online. So if you're looking for just a redirect, chat to me. Or alternatively, if you're looking for results, if you're rich and you're looking to get richer, I cracked the market, so you should probably speak to me too. That's it for now. Have a good one, and I'll catch up with you in the new week. Ciao for now.